Welcome to the JAMODI podcast. We are all surrounded by amazing coaches and leaders. So let's get an inside look at not just what they do, but how they do what they do. After all, becoming the best versions of ourselves is JAMODI, just a matter of doing it. Coaches, the JAMODI podcast is powered by Ballogy. Manage and measure your players' skill development and increase accountability year-round utilizing the Ballogy app. Boost inter-squad competition with drills backed by the National High School Basketball Coaches Association, including a 40-shot Ballogy skills assessment. Please visit ballogy.com/teams for information on how you can provide this resource for your team. Yeah, first question. I love getting to learn about the habits of coaches, daily habits of coaches and successful people. So what are some of the things that you do daily that kind of set you up for success, and even when you were coaching?
Well, coaching, it started in football. We'd sit down and do a practice, and you had to script it out. You had to have a copy with you, because if the head coach came up to you during practice and what's next, and you didn't know, you got jumped on, you got cussed out.
Yeah.
And I never went on the floor without a daily practice schedule. Never try to wing it. I hate when I show up for a camp. They say, "Coach, won't you take over? Won't you do that? Give me a heads up. I don't mind. just kind of let me know what's going on." So whenever I do camps or anything or a practice, I kind of have some stuff in the back of my mind. I might need to pull this stuff out, because just not being organized and not having a schedule. You got to have it. Even being retired, I have a list of things that I want to try to accomplish each and every day, and if I can get half of them done, that's pretty good.
That's a win. That's a common thread from successful coaches or leaders, is that they go to sleep with the next day planned out. What were some of the other habits, maybe 38 years of coaching, that you brought every day, especially in season, that just helped you kind of stay focused, stay organized?
You got to read the daily word every day. When I was younger, or when I was in Dallas, especially, even in DeSoto, sometimes you forget that you are a husband, a father, or and sometimes you're so overcome with, hey, we got to have success, we got to win. There's a lot of years I'd come home from a practice, I'd tell my wife, hey, don't buy anything new, because we may be moving. And she would just kind of laugh about it and everything. It's amazing how things work out a lot of times. You just got to stay with your guns. You got to stay with your principles. I didn't want the kids to ever lie. I didn't want of course that doesn't always work, but
at least the standard is there that we're not going to do that. And I think if you set that standard, then you have a better chance of it happening less.
You're right. And I wanted assistant coaches that, number one, the most important thing about assistant coaches, like I said, I coach football, so you can teach anybody anything. If I can coach football, I can take someone that's never even seen a basketball and get them. The big is you have coaches that are loyal. You don't want your stuff out in the barbershop. You don't want your stuff out, in the weekly reader. You got to have coaches that support you and have your back and have the same agenda you do. And I was very, very fortunate. The coaches I had that they believed in discipline. They believed in the kids being on time. I used to tell my kids that one of my kids a few years ago came up to me and said, "Coach, I'm doing that linguini time." I said, "What are you talking about, Clay?" He said, "What you told me about." I said, "Clay, that's called Lombardi time." He said, "Coach, I'm 10 minutes early for everything." I said, That's good. But
we'll go with linguini then, I guess. That's good.
You just I always tell the kid, if you're not going to be on time, if something's happening, if you're having a hard time getting to practice, call me. Let me know. I don't want you walking in 10 minutes after we get started, because that's a pet peeve of mine, or a coach. If I had a coach that walked in, I told all my coaches to be there an hour before practice. And then afterwards, I'd tell them, hey, you guys go home, I'll stay.
Oh.
So you just you got to model behavior. And, if you don't do it, how do you expect them to do it? I always used to sweep the floor myself. I didn't want anyone else doing it. And one year when I was at South Oak Cliff, Roy Williams came down from Kansas. And I'm at sock and I'm sweeping the floor before practice. He said, hey, coach, you got another broom? I said, yeah. He said, well, here, I'll help you. And his story was he started out as a ninth grade football coach. And he said first day of practice, he had a group of kids like 45 minutes by himself, and he didn't know what to do. So they did the figure eight bear crawls, for 45 minutes. He said, I didn't know what else to do. It was just a type of. So that kind of shows you, he said, I have a group of assistants that have gone from college to college, and they don't understand. They think the baskets are always put down, the floor is always swept, and they don't understand somebody has to do that. And, being a high school coach, I don't have a work crew. My work crew is me. So.
That's a good point. And I love what you said about having assistants that are loyal. I wonder how many times when you have positions that are open and you're looking through applications, how many times we focus mainly on the basketball piece. Where have they played? What do they know? We focus on that, but then you're right on the money. I mean, it doesn't really matter how great of a coach they are if you don't feel like that they have your back as a head coach. It's not going to work out. It's going to be tough.
Well, if you're rowing one way and they're on the other side of the boat rowing the other,
yep,
it's hard to get things done.
So you better ask the right questions. I mean, you better ask those questions and really try to get a good feel. Don't be blinded by maybe the experience or where they played or at what level, and make sure that it is the right fit for you and your school and your program.
Well, I mean, look at I'm not putting myself in this category, but Coach Drew and Tommy and myself, we're not going to make anybody's all NBA team or anybody's all league team. We could have a hard time making the all church league team. So, when you get guys that are blue collar that have worked, it's a little bit different, I guess. And that's what I look for. You're going to laugh about this. I'd always hire coaches to work the premier camps, and I would look for little things like during lunchtime, did they go over and take out take the trash bags out of the barrel and tie them up and place them out front like at Hockaday or something like that. It was the little things. Yeah. Did they get early? Did they try to get out the door, early? Just little things.
Thank you for checking out today's episode. Please take a moment to subscribe to this podcast, share it with your fellow coaches, and find us on social media for what's coming up next on the JAMODI podcast. It's just a matter of doing it.